Welcome to One Tired Teacher, or should I say Two Tired Teachers, episode 179. What is so wrong with clip charts in the classroom? Oh, this is a controversial topic, and Lee and I have different opinions, and this is one of those episodes where you're going to hear multiple sides of things. And if you're using clip charts and you're thinking, wait a minute, I don't want to be shamed, you're not being shamed. We both use them. We both have feelings about that. We've also learned, new information and things that we've noticed. So keep that in mind and let's talk about clip charts. Hope you stick around.
Welcome to One Tired Teacher. And even though she may need a nap, this teacher is ready to wake up and speak her truth about the trials and treasures of teaching. Here she is, wide awake. Wait, she's not asleep right now, is she? She is awake, right? Okay. From Trina Debery Teaching and Learning, your host, Trina Debery.
Hey, so we're back. We are Two Tired Teachers, and we're back to talk about kind of a controversial topic. And that is,
it is controversial.
What is so wrong with clip charts? Oh,
I feel like clip charts are like a bad word in the education field.
The thing is that we say these things, but then we don't give teachers alternatives, and they think, I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to say a little, and then I'm going to let you say a little. I want to say a little bit about like my history with clip charts. So I have had a clip chart in my classroom, and for years it worked for me. And what I did differently when I started to learn that this may not be the best thing for kids, I made it very fluid. So kids could always, if they had moved down, they could always move back up. I looked for things that they did well right away. As soon as I moved them down, I paid attention to, even if they did things, especially if they were kids that had really severe behavior, I looked for anything they did right because I knew they needed to taste success. So even if they got their pencil out and they were ready for their next assignment, I'm like, oh, look what a great job you've done doing that. You
following directions quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Following directions quickly, move back up. And because I didn't want them, especially those kids that are constantly feeling like there's no way for them to recover.
I think that's the biggest complaint about clip charts is that it's just basically the good kids always stay on green and the bad kids are the only ones that ever move down.
And you're right. And it feels like if kids feel like they can't recover, you're done. They're done. You're done. You basically have screwed yourself and the child. So as I became a student support specialist, I realized how damaging it can be. I saw it from the eyes of the student. I worked with a student that was on the autism spectrum, and it was like, you might as well have been ripping his toenails out when you moved that clip down. It was awful. I cried with him once because he was so upset that he had to move his clip down. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not the impact that I was thinking I was having on students. And so I realized, like, okay, this is really upsetting. And kids that have anxiety, which are a lot of our kids, especially after we've gone through a pandemic, they get really anxious thinking that they might be moved. And sometimes the really, really good kids that sometimes do make mistakes, because we all do, it's like devastating for them. Like, it's their whole conversation on their way home from school. It's nothing about what they learned or did or any of the memories they made. It's all about the stinking clip chart.
Yeah.
All right. So I said I say one more thing. And that is, I think the most important thing that you can do in replace of that, I think we're
going to, let's bring that towards the end, because I think that'll be perfect too.
All right. Okay. So now you talk about it.
Okay. So experience with clip chart. Actually, that was like my favorite classroom management tool.
Yeah.
And I ran my clip chart exactly how you did yours. Very fluid and very generous. Like, if you were on red, you were never on red the whole day. Like I literally, you glanced my way when I called your name, move your clip up. I was very generous, but I know later in my career, I realized like that just was not best practice. And a clip chart doesn't work for every class and it doesn't work for every student. So if a student really was struggling with being on clip chart, I had no problem removing them and doing something different. But to me, a clip chart was an easy way to implement classroom like expectations and having a tool to kind of manage those. And I know a lot of people criticize a clip chart because they're like, it's not like real life. You're right. But a classroom is not real life. It's a classroom. In what world are 25 first graders put together?
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
And with my clip chart, I had natural consequences that were attached to those that made sense. And we did a lot of like restorative justice. We're like, if you make a mess, we're going to clean it up. If you hurt someone's feelings, we're going to apologize. So there was other things at play with it. It wasn't just the clip chart. But I will say, like when I taught third grade, I had brought my clip chart up from second and I thought we're going to use it here. It's going to work in third. And that blew up in my face real quick. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you in that moment, I didn't know what else to do. And I feel like a lot of teachers are like, all right, so we know maybe clip charts are not the best for kids, but what other alternatives are there? And I think that's really where we need to like bring in what are some things that we can do that are better and developmentally appropriate for kids that, kids feel successful on, that also manages classroom behavior in a way.
We want to have these positive, healthy, happy cultures and communities. And that I think the first key is to be proactive. Like you want to set routines and procedures and you want to practice them to death until it looks exactly the way that you want it to look. And when you create those things, like it becomes like a kind of a peer pressure.
Yeah. You almost like, it's like, so the answer to like a classroom management problem is the offense. A good offense is a good defense, right? Like the best offense is the best defense. Instead of constantly feeling like, gosh, I'm having to like discipline my kids because they're not doing their transitions correctly. Instead, if you practice them all the way, like you said, until they actually looked good and how they're supposed to, you wouldn't have a discipline problem.
Yeah. And if you find that is occurring even in October, after you feel like you've done this, then you stop and you do it again. I can't tell you how many times we would have to practice walking in line, which is a little silly because when you think about that, how realistic is that? Even how many times in our lives are we walking in line?
I always just told my kids, it's a part of being respectful for the students at the school. I said, I don't need my line to be perfect, but I do expect you to be respectful. And being respectful in a hallway means you are quiet because there are people learning. And it also means walking one behind the other so we can share the sidewalk. That's it. Somebody shouldn't have to come off the sidewalk because you aren't staying in your spot. Like that is real life. Like when we're walking on the sidewalk, there's space.
You got to.
If you stay on your side.
Yes, you're right.
That's how I would always be like, I don't need the line to be perfect, but I do want you to be respectful. And I think once kids understand, like we're not just doing this because the teacher's being picky. There's a reason behind it. They feel like they want to kind of get behind it with you. Yeah. And I love the idea of like teaching like those routines because I feel like at the beginning of the year, that's the most important thing you should be teaching. But there is so much pressure on teachers to start curriculum.
I know you're right, but you're hurting yourself when you do that. Every time I've tried to jump into content, I have struggled with my class. So I have to take that time. I don't care what anyone else says. I don't even care what the administrator says. Sorry, administrators, but you're going to have to just wait. I've got to get this class completely under control. We have to feel like a family. That's what I would say. This is our classroom family. And we're looking out for each other. We're building each other up. We care about one another. And the way that we are doing that is we want to give each other opportunity to learn and all the other things that are important. And
learn how to be a productive member of this family.
Yes. I have this like setting your expectations and procedures things actually in my back to school packs, because I think it's that important. So we talk about the procedures we want. I model them. Then I have the kids. I have the kids demonstrate.
That's a huge one. Have the kids do it. Like if you're having a behavior problem, they're running to line up.
Yep.
And have them act out. You could literally do one by one how it would look to line up to the door, and talk about why lining up at the door running is not okay in a classroom. It's not safe. You could get hurt, and they're going to tell you, they know,
Plus, like even relating it to what that even means when you're doing that. Yeah. Are you in your mind thinking, me getting in the line is more important than all of the rest of you? And when you say
they are, because if you're line leader, you're king.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, did you forget what it's like to teach kindergarten, first grade?
Kids.
Actually,
no, but when you really have them think about it,
fifth grade, they would all like run and like elbow each other, and I'm like, okay, first off, you guys are big kids. Like, we're all getting there at the same time, but like I love that, because that kind of like puts it back in perspective. Like
it does. It's like, you're not more important than anyone else. You're not leaving other people behind. I understand that you want to be at first. We all do, but that's why we have line leaders, so that everyone gets a chance to be.
If you have a line leader and a door holder, it doesn't matter who's first, because it's always going to be them anyway.
Absolutely. And so then there is no running. I had a friend who I thought this was hilarious. She had a girl that did that all the time. She ran to the front every single time. And so one day she decided she was going to create a natural consequence. So she's like, all right, we're going to call her Bernataria. So we're going to call her Bernataria. I don't know where that name came from. So
beautiful name.
So it's like, all right, Bernataria, you are the line, that you are ahead of the line. You have made it to the front. I mean, she made a big deal of it. She's like, this is great. You're going to stay right here so no one gets your spot the entire time. So Bernataria is like, yeah. All right. So out they go.
Finally, now you're getting it.
You recognized me. So now they go out. It's time for recess. And she's like, and Bernataria starts to go. And she's like, oh, no, Bernataria. We know how important the front of the line is for you. So you are going to stand at this front of the line so that you have your spot through this entire time. So when we line back up, you're ready to go. So Bernataria had to stay at the front of the line during the entire recess. Now, I'm not a big proponent of taking recess, but I thought that was hilarious. I'm like,
I think it's a creative way to kind of like give them what they want and say, I see you and I understand you, but what you're doing is not.
Yep.
Come on. And you're kind of like calling them out on it.
You kind of are. And it's like, all right, now if you want to race to the front, well, of course you can race to the front, but guess what happens when you do that?
You got to stay dedicated to the role, right?
Yep. You got to stay there. And she would also say things like, I want you to be successful. It's so important for you to be successful. I'm going to find this spot right over here. This is your success spot. And so it was never like, go away from here, get away from the class, you're going to timeout. It was none of that. It was all, because then they'd go home and say, I had to sit in a success spot. What do parents say to that? Well, I just wanted, I was thinking of your child. I wanted them to feel successful. So I love success spots. It's like a totally reframing of things. It is. And, because one of the things I learned later outside of the classroom was the reasons why children misbehave, like why we have these. And one of them is because they feel left out. So they feel left out, and then we leave them out sometimes. And I am so guilty. I have done this because when kids have really made me mad, I'm like, go to so-and-so's classroom because I need.
Well, I will say there are times where
and getting you away from me.
Yeah, but a break needs to happen. And that is you saying, like, I've reached a boundary.
I have.
But I think it's okay to tell students, like, I need a break and you need to.
I need a break from. I think it is too.
But maybe saying I need a break from traumatic,
when it's a traumatic response for kids, when kids have felt left out or they feel like they're not a part of something. They feel like that all the time anyway. So that just triggers a traumatic response. So it is just a different something to think about. As annoyed as you can be at kids, and kids have made me annoyed for sure. I have allowed them
she's so tired.
Send me over the edge, but I really think some of those things are important to think about. So they often do that because they feel left out. They do it because they feel incompetent. They what are the other reasons? There's like 5 reasons. Brian Mendler is a great resource for behavior,
Okay.
issues. Yes, he's excellent. He is so I was dying when I went into the media center. I was dying with 5th grade. Kindergarten and 5th grade were going to eat me alive.
Yep.
Everything I'd ever done before in my classroom was not working. I couldn't have a clip chart as a special area teacher. I didn't have
No.
rapport with these students because I was new to this school. I had no, they thought I was going to leave. They all dealt with a lot of trauma and a lot of baggage, and their number one way of responding was to push you back. They didn't believe that you would stick around for them, so they were going to push you away. It was
why spend time getting to know you?
hardest job I've ever had. And Brian Mendler was a huge help, and whole brain teaching was another huge help. And I would watch these videos all the way to school, or I guess I wouldn't watch them. I'd listen to them all the way to school.
She was being safe, people. Don't worry.
And all the way home. And it was an actual game changer. I did the scoreboard with classes.
I hate the teacher scoreboard.
I love that because I'm like, I don't
like the message of that, Trina.
You're playing. You're playing a game with the kids.
I like the game. I don't like that the teachers and the kids are on opposing teams. We are not on the opposite team.
I do understand that. I do understand that. But man, it was.
I used to play, but instead against me, it would just.
But I would give. They were getting points.
They would earn points or lose points. That was it. We were all on the same team.
They didn't lose points. They never lost points.
I know, but like instead of the teacher getting a point, it would just be us, and we would be the team, and we would earn points, but we could lose points if we didn't do it fast or whatever. I don't like the idea that
I agree with you. I don't like that message either. That
we're not. We're on the same team. I'm your coach and you're my team. Like, we're not going to be against each other. Like, I don't know. But I love whole brain.
I do think I thought that saved me. That scoreboard saved me. But I had fun with it. I was like, oh man, you got a point again. And you're beating me. And I'm like, I'm going to be looking. Somebody has to talk or talk without raising their hand, or someone has to do whatever. I need a point. And so I would like make a big deal out of it that. And then they would be like, we got you, Miss Devery. And I'm like, yeah, you did. So I thought that was fun, but I think you're right. Like thinking about it as being on the opposite teams. Yeah, maybe that isn't a negative thing. So what can we do instead?
I don't, like I said, I would do like the points thing where if we were earning points, I love like a classic teacher move is to write a word on the board and erase a word or erase a letter each time. Like recess, we're going to write recess, but every time you're not doing something, we're going to I would switch that completely around, like especially on like holidays where it's like crazy. And instead we would earn letters and then they could earn the prize. So for a perfect one for Halloween that works is that they would write like Halloween, but they would earn the letters instead of get them taken away. So like everybody came to Carbon so quietly. Here's your H, here's your A. And then at the end, the reward was they didn't have homework that night.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I mean, the truth is like, I don't care that you didn't do your homework, but like, it feels really special, but like, also like it got them to want to work together towards a common goal. Yes. And they would be really excited about it. Like, oh my gosh, we got another letter. And it created a team build. Now, can you do that every day? No, because like most things, overuse means it'll be no fun anymore, right? Like if we do it every day, we're not going to have fun.
Could you do it every day? And maybe you were doing like the last 5 minutes of class was like makerspace, or last 10 minutes of class.
Yeah. Or like earn it through the week or something.
I mean, I like to have immediate, like a shorter time frame to get a reward. So what I would do, they had to get, and I did do team points. And I'm even thinking maybe I would.
I love team. I think actually team points is an underutilized classroom management strategy.
I thought that was like gold. That was so helpful to me.
I love that because it helps create a classroom
special area teacher, but it worked in the classroom.
Yeah.
So I think, and we would do 10 minutes of, I had multiple intelligence centers. That's how I set it up at the end. So everything was by your intelligence, and then we would reflect on which intelligence was our strength and where we needed to stretch ourselves. And so they were called smart stations. I called them smart stations. So if you were going to get, and what would happen if you didn't finish some work, well, I've got to give you time to be successful, so you might have to miss some smart station time, and you can work, finish some of your things, and then kids would finish everything.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes,
Isn't that amazing?
all of a sudden,
even your kids who aren't finishing work,
they'd finish all their work, but
somehow they find it
daily thing, which I also felt like they were still learning. It was a daily activity. It gave them something, because I wasn't taking recess. I know that hyper kids need recess. A lot of kids with behavior issues need to move around. I was just hurting myself when I took recess, but it felt like I needed kind of something.
You have to have something. Yeah. If you can't take away, if all they care about is recess and you can't take it away, there has to be a consequence. And I think, like you did, a natural consequence makes the most sense. And yours was a natural consequence. If our work doesn't get done, then we don't get to do the fun thing. So, and I know not every classroom has stuff like that, but it could be something, small. Like I used to do tickets, and the kids could earn tickets. And at the end of the day, I would pick tickets. Well, like if your work wasn't done, you wouldn't be sitting on the carpet. The only way you could get your name, if I drew your name and you weren't on the carpet because your work wasn't done or whatever, I would just put the ticket back in.
Yep.
It didn't hurt. You didn't lose your chance. It's just, So like all the kids would like, oh my gosh, come down and like be sitting like bated breath waiting for me. And I would usually pull 5, and they would get either like I did get my treasure box, or I did the classroom coupons that you could do. They love those.
What about brag tags? I love those.
Oh, I never got into brag tags, but I know
I love that. I think
I love the idea of that. I saw stickers that you could do, like they would do, like you get a sticker wall and you would pull out stickers and get to put them on a binder, like more than just like little smiley face stickers. We're talking like water bottle stickers, like real nice ones, like because stickers are big right now.
I think that the thing that I like about brag tags is that you could focus on specific like citizenship or character.
Yes.
Today we're working
on, and they could earn that.
Yes. And they can even suggest that for another student.
And it goes up on the wall, and instead of being like a shame,
it's actually not, it's not necessarily on a wall. They can keep it on a clip, or they can keep it on a necklace, but sometimes they end up throwing twisting it around, and I
would not put that.
So I stopped the necklace, but I had them on a clip, and then they could keep them in their pencil box. So they were collecting these different, brag tags, so that I'm really good at showing empathy, or I'm really good at, following directions quickly, or I'm, whatever the thing that we were focusing on. You could always go back, like, I'm going to reinforce, I don't know. What's one that's not coming to my mind? Kindness, being kind to others.
Oh yeah.
Like going above and beyond. Anyway. All right. So let's finish with, what's your favorite?
Oh, quick questions. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What's
quick fire
question. Teacher, your favorite behavior management tool, or what's the thing that you think is the most important?
The most important thing in a classroom is relationship. And I hate it when people say that that's all you need. That's not true, but it is a building stone. Because if a student knows that you truly care about them, not just as a student in their classroom, but as a person, they will have much more response to you on whatever else you do. But a relationship is not enough. Do not tell me my classroom management strategy is relationship building. That is a great component. But in addition to that, it has to be clear, like routines and procedures with clear, like consequence and reward. And what I mean by, and actually really just consequence, there's positive and negative, and they are clear, because that students want to know that where they stand with you, and they want to know that there's no gray area, because the gray area is where the bad stuff happens. That's where kids get in trouble. They slide around in there, no, they need to know and understand that there's a clear boundary in this classroom. So to me, number 1, relationship, and number 2, having really strong classroom procedures. Routines and procedures.
That's exactly what I would say. I know that people say, don't just tell me relationships, but I know that when kids feel like you care about them, that you love them, when they love you, it's totally different. It changes everything.
It does. think about like even with your principal, if you don't really like your principal and they're coming at you telling you need to do this thing,
It's all about your
way
emotional
less
bank account.
likely. Yeah, you're so much less likely to enjoy whatever it is they're telling you to do. But if you love your principal and think that your principal has your back, even if like you're not their favorite, but like you feel like they have your back, they care about you as a person, you're probably going to go to the ends of the earth to do things for that principal, even if you don't want to do them.
Even if you don't want to. No, I agree. And I think procedures and expectations are huge. And the only one thing that I would say is that about the consequences, like when we solely focus on consequences, like that punitive aspect of behavior, that's not going to give us long-term change.
No.
It's going to give us temporary change, but it's not going to give us long-term behavior modification. And what is our goal? Like, that's the thing that I have to ask myself. Like, and I know that people are like, I need a consequence for this behavior. And I understand feeling like that, but I sometimes have to remind myself, what do I want in the end? I want this child, I want to change the child's behavior. I don't want them to constantly think about all the consequences for the things that they've done. There are consequences, obviously, but also I want a long-term change.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying like consequences, like the natural consequences.
Yes, absolutely.
Like if I'm going to be, and I make a mess, I get mad and I make a mess in the classroom. The consequence has to be, they have to clean it up.
Yep.
You made a mess. We're going to clean it up. I'll support you. I'll help you, but you're going to clean it up. We're not going to do this, like, so to me, it's more natural, those kind of consequences.
Yes.
Because that to me is very much life.
I think that's a good way of like allowing, people to come back in when they have disrupted, is like, that's one of the first steps is where I'm going to have you clean this up. Yes.
We're going to make it better. Yeah. That's what I would say. How can we make this better? What can we do to fix this? You can apologize. That's a great suggestion. Let's go apologize or whatever it is. Yeah. Oh my gosh, this has been such a great chat.
I agree.
Tired teachers chatting about classroom management. Hopefully we gave some good strategies to use other than a clip chart. I just want to reiterate, we were not saying you should use a clip chart. We were just kind of talking about like this conundrum that is a clip chart and like some of those strategies that you could use instead. But whatever you choose, you just need to make sure that you are relationship building and that you are using that tool or whatever to validity, because it'll blow up in your face. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. Clip chart, Class Dojo, brag tags. If you're not trying and using them, they're not going to work. They're just extra that you don't need.
That's true. That's right.
So,
all right. Until
are we two tired teachers signing off?
Yep, we are. We're two tired teachers signing off.